All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. This is the first episode of The Master of the Mat. I am Anthony, the Origin Bryant. We are going to do something special today. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to have a great time. I promise you that right now. This is the first episode where we're going to have a good time. I promise you that right now. So I'm about to send a link out to my family so they can hop on board this thing. Because I guarantee you, we're gonna have a good time right now. So give me 1 second. There we go. So let me send this link out, and so we can get it started right now. And so to my family and friends and Facebook, so that way everybody can see what's going on. We're starting right now. Well, we're gonna talk about old school ECW, old school WCW, old school WWF, AWA. We're gonna get into all that on this first episode. I guarantee it. So give me 1 moment. Let me send this out. Um, all right, now welcome to the very first edition of the Master of the Map. My name is Anthony the Origin Bryant. I am here to talk about old school and maybe current wrestling because that current stuff does not float my boat. And I'm an old school avid head, and what I mean by that is I am a wrestling historian, if you could say that. I watched a whole lot of the WWE network. So we're gonna throw it out. So you my first my first tribute, so I'm gonna see who's gonna answer this question. This person won. I don't know why. Well, anyway, this person won his first ever WCW championship at Bash at the Beach and his very first pay-per-view appearance in WCW. Who is he? This person won his very first WCW World Heavyweight Championship at Bash at the Beach in his very first appearance in WCW. Who was he? No, it wasn't Sting. Sting won his first title in 1990 against Ric Flair at the Great American Bash. So it wasn't Sting. So let's get right into the show. We're gonna see who's gonna answer it. I'm gonna start off by talking about old school WWF. Now, as you all know, WWF has some legendary tag teams. in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. And one of the greatest tag teams of the 80s will have to be, in many people's minds, Demolition. Axe and Smash. Axe and Smash held the tag team titles for 365 days. The New Days, yeah, I told you got it, was Hogan. And the Demolition went on to break. Well, they didn't break, but Demolition went on to uh, hold those tag team titles. They will only lose those tag team titles, then they will regain them right back. They were the first ever three-time WWF tag team champions. But the point I'm making is Demolition's record would be broken by the New Day in another decade of wrestling. And that's amazing that it took the New Day to break Demolition record. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E. Now, here's the thing. Demolition was managed at one point by Mr. Fuji. And Mr. Fuji didn't manage no slouches. Let me just say that right now. If you was managed by Mr. Fuji, your name is in the echelons of the professional wrestling. Fuji has a lot of wrestlers that he managed, guys like Don the Rock Morocco, um, Yokozuna. You look at who Mr. Fuji has managed and took into greatness. Don Morocco is a former Intercontinental champion, man. Who can ever forget his classic battles at Madison Square Garden with Jimmy Superfly Snuka? The night that Jimmy Superfly came off the top of that cage and splashed. Snuka may have lost that match, but in the same token, you didn't think he lost because Snuka came off that cage and just he flew like never before. That made his career. And in that audience that night was future Hall of Famers like Bubba Ray Dudley, Mick Foley. I think Tommy Dreamer was there. Devon Dudley was there. A whole lot of guys made their name, made was at that show to see Snuka fly off the cage and splash on the Don Morocco. And I mean, you look at Mr. Fuji's background. Look what he did with Yokozuna. Now, for those of you who don't know, Yokozuna was not Japan. No, Yokozuna was a Samoan. He's a part of the Akio family. He is Roman Reigns' cousin. He is The Rock's cousin. Okay? That Samoan lineage in WWE goes way back. And when I mean way back, look at the Samoan history in WWE from then until now. Every Samoan that has been in WWE has either been a WWE champion. As a matter of fact, Yokozuna, Roman Reigns, and The Rock are the only three Samoans that held the WWE championship. You think about that. You look at what Roman Reigns did at this year WrestleMania. Look at that. Roman Reigns, in my opinion, is supposed to be as big of a superstar as Brock Lesnar. The only reason Roman Reigns is not as big as he's supposed to be because at WrestleMania 32, Brock Lesnar did not put Roman Reigns over. Brock completely dominated Roman Reigns. When I mean dominated, Roman got suplex after suplex after suplex after suplex. Brock was told that Brock was told to put Roman Reigns over. He didn't put Roman Reigns over at all. He made Roman Reigns look like a straight up and down punk. It's that simple. He made Roman like a punk. Okay. I sent the link. I don't see a lot of more people. Hold on. I'm sending it out one more time. All right, there we go. Roman Reigns, and the thing about it is, Roman got dominant. Here's the thing: Roman didn't get dominant until he got with the greatest manager of all times, Paul Heyman. Now, I can talk about Paul Heyman all day, every day, because I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a living, breathing Paul Heyman guy. Yes, I am. I am a Paul Heyman guy. I'm gonna tell you I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman curated ECW. But before he created ECW, Back in the old NWA WCW days, Paul Heyman managed a group of guys who were all Hall of Famers. I mean, everybody, well, with the exception of Bobby Eaton, are all Hall of Bobby Eaton didn't make the Hall of Bobby Eaton didn't make the Hall of Fame. He should, but he didn't. But it's low. All right, hold on, hold on. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Yes or no? Is that a lot better? No, well, the point I was making is Paul Heyman, like I said, back in the old NWA WCW days, Paul Heyman managed a group of guys who are all in the Hall of Fame. You think I want look at okay, look at this. Look at Paul Heyman's history in WCW. The Dangerous Alliance consisted of Larry Zbyszko, Double A on Anderson, Irish and Rick Rude, Sonny Steve Austin, beautiful Bobby Eaton. Now, hold that thought for one moment. Bobby Eaton, On Anderson, Steve Austin, Larry Zbyszko are all former TV champions. Hmm. Bobby Eaton, On Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, tag team champions. Come on, man. Bobby Eaton is perhaps the greatest tag team champion in the NWA. I don't care what nobody say. When he was a part of the Midnight Express, I don't care who was his partner. Stan Lane, Dennis Cordier, I don't care who it was. The Midnight Express, managed by Jim Cornette, you could not touch the Midnight Express. Their greatest rivalry, the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. But let's go back to the Danger Lines. We're going to go back on that later on. Every member of Paul Heyman's Dangerous Alliance, even Medusa, who later became Alundra Blades, Medusa is in the Hall of Fame. Look at Paul Heyman's. I'm telling you, look what Paul Heyman do to wrestlers. When I mean, look what he do to wrestlers. Stunning Steve Austin, who later became Stone Cold Steve Austin. Robinson Rick Rude, former international heavyweight champion WCW, U.S. champion WCW, tag champion WCW, intercontinental champion WWE. He should have been world champion, but Austin Warrior didn't want to drop the title. Okay, hey, he didn't want to drop the title. He couldn't make the man drop the title. Double A on Anderson, the greatest WCW TV champion, hands down. If you talk about TV titles, you cannot talk about Double A. I'm gonna tell you why in a few minutes. Larry Zbyszko, the living freaking legend, AWA champion. If I may, I think he's the final AWA world champion. Larry Zbyszko make Eric Bischoff and Starrcade look like a little girl. I'm telling you what I'm telling you what I saw. All right. And Roberts, and what about Stone Cold Steve Austin? When Stone Cold was in the WWE, they put Stone Cold with Ted DiBiase. They called him the Ringmaster. That was the stupidest name they could give that man. The Ringmaster. What the heck is a Ringmaster? They gave him the lousiest championship that meant nothing. That belt was useless. All he did was carry that belt around. He didn't defend it. How many times did Stone Cold defend the $1 million title? I can answer that right now. Zero. Zouch. Not one time. You know why? Because that belt was too priceless to lose. There's only been $3 million champions. Stone Cold, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Virgil. You don't really count DiBiase because DiBiase created the dang on title. You just don't. But the point I'm making is this. The Dance Alliance and NWA, WCW, all of them, huh? Who was Larry the Briscoe? Tag team partner. Who? Larry the Axe? I'll get back to that later. Paul Heyman makes and managed nothing but legends. Legends in WCW. United States title reigns in the history of reigns. As a matter of fact, he didn't do pretty bad with the TV title as well. Rick Rude will go on to become a three-time international champion in WCW. Steve Austin would have been an international champion, but let's just tell it like it is. Sting didn't want to drop the title. Okay. According to rumors, they said Sting did not feel Steve Austin was on his level. Sting said Austin was down here and he was right there. That's what they said Sting was. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're gonna find. I mean, that is. That's probably before my time. All right. So now moving on. Paul Heyman. Like I said, Paul Heyman got here. Everybody knows I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I am a Paul Heyman guy, hands down. Paul Heyman created ECW. Before it was called Extreme Championship Wrestling, it was called Eastern Championship Wrestling. Paul Heyman changed the E to Extreme to make ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling, a hardcore-based wrestling company out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Paul Heyman made guys household names. I'm gonna tell you why right now. Before Raven was Raven, Raven was Johnny Polo, who managed the Quebecers, and he was some guy by the name of Flamingo in WCW. I don't remember his name, but something about Flamingo. He dressed like a flamingo, but whatever. Before he was Raven, he was Polo and Flamingo. When he got with Paul Heyman, he got that quote the Raven crap, and he became a household name in professional wrestling. And the reason I say household name in WCW, Raven made superstars a household name. The most notable name out that flock, Billy Kidman. Everybody else, and Perry Saturn, Billy Kidman. When Billy Kidman broke free of the flock, Kidman's career skyrocketed in the cruiserweight division. But if Raven didn't go to ECW, there would never be no flock. All right. So I'm gonna break off right here. I'm gonna give you a wrestling trivia right now. Who did Taz defeat to win his first ever ECW TV title? I'm gonna give you three choices. Was it number one, Steven Richards, number two, Tommy Dreamer, or number three, Shane Douglas? Let's see who knows the answer to that one. The question is, who did Taz defeat to win his very first ECW World Television Championship? Was it Steven Richards, Tommy Dreamer, or Shane Douglas? Let's see who get the answers to that one. All right. Now, like I said, if Raven never left WCW, he wouldn't have been as big as he was. Raven, you know what? Raven became U.S. champion. Eric Bischoff didn't treat Raven right in WCW, so he left, went back to ECW, made himself a tag team champion with Tommy Dreamer. Ooh, excuse me, left ECW, went to WWE. He became the hardcore champion more times than anybody in the world. He still holds that record to this day. But Raven, in Raven's book, Raven talked about the match that put him on the map. It was a hardcore match on SmackDown with The Undertaker. And he quotes and he says, The Undertaker made me what I am because he put me on the map on SmackDown. It was in 2000, Raven versus The Undertaker, SmackDown edition. I'm not for sure what, I know it was in 2000. I'm not for sure what date or month it was, but I do know it was in 2000. Now, ECW also created the greatest tag team in professional wrestling history, Bubba and Devon Dudley, the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, whatever you want to call them. These boys came out of ECW legendary. The Dudley Boys are the only, and I repeat, the only tag team in professional wrestling history to hold the NWA, WCW, WWF, WWE, EC. Hold up, let me start over. They are the only tag team to hold ECW, NWA, WWF, WWE, TNA, New Japan Tag Team Championships. They were meant to be in the Hall of Fame for one, because I say this with all due respect to every tag team out there. The Dudley Boys, in my mind, are on the Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling. When I mean the Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling, these guys are awesome. I mean, Bubba and Devon are awesome. They went to TNA, became tag team champions. Bubba Ray dropped the name Bubba and became Bully Ray and became a two-time not NW, I'm sorry, became a two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Devon became a two-time TV champion. Come on, man. Them boys, Devon and Bubba, the Dudley Boys, the greatest tag team of all time. Nobody know the answer to the question. And the question is, who did Taz beat to win his very first ECW World Television Championship? And the three selections are Stephen Richards, Tommy Dreamer, or Shane Douglas. Come on, see if we can get this answer. All right. Now we're talking about ECW. ECW was known for hardcore wrestling, and a lot of guys came out of ECW did not make it to WWE. Should have, but did not. Guys like Two Cold Scorpio, who wrestled in WWF as Flash Funk. Good Lord, did he suck in WWF. He didn't. Oh Lord, the Flash Funk suck in WWF. Oh my Lord. Um. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna come on. It's my show. I'm gonna come on and say it. Whoever gave him that name, Flash Funk, should be drug out of the street and beat the crap out of, because that name sucked. Flash Funk. They should have let him use Two Cold Scorpio. At least in Two Cold Scorpio, he can fly and do a lot of stuff, but he sucked. He really sucked. I mean, this guy, he lost to a clothesline. What's up, Zoe? Yeah, he does. He okay. Flash Funk, Scorpio, whatever you want to call it. He has one of the best 450 splash of all time. But you gotta admit yourself, Butch, that name Flash Funk sucked. And you know it like I do. Zoe, you know it sucked too. I see we got 6 people watching, 5 people watching. Let's get 5 likes in here. You know what I'm saying? Flash Funk. I don't know who came up with that name. He sucked. But he dropped the name Flash Funk and picked up Suco Scorpio and Stark Simmons. Now that was awesome. When Scorpio and Ross were a tag team, them boys were. Thank you. Zoe agree with me. Yeah, his theme song was good, but his rest the name sucked. Just that simple. Too Cold was better. It's that simple. All right. But Too Cold Scorpio is a 5-time ECW television champion, a 2-time ECW tag team champion, with perhaps the drunkest wrestler there ever was. And I'm talking about the Sandman. The Sandman couldn't wrestle unless he was drunk. It's a true statement, people. I'm not lying. I'm not making none of this up. Sandman could not wrestle unless he was drunk. When I mean drunk, the man right now, because I really can't stand Sandman. I really don't. I really don't like the Sandman. Let's shift gears real quick. Let's go to WCW. WCW. Before it was WCW, it was NWA WCW. You had guys like Stan and Larry Henson. You had guys like the Total Package Lex Luger, Sting, the Steiner Brothers, my favorite tag team. The Road Warriors, aka LOD. You had tag the when I'm talking about WCW had a stack roster, they had a stack roster. You had Butch Reed, Ron Simmons, Doom. Let's talk about Doom. Let's talk about who managed Doom. Holla holla, Teddy Long. Teddy Long, one of the greatest. The Hollywood Blondes, though. I'm gonna get to them. I to get the Doom. They got a story about Brian Pillman. It's gonna make everybody laugh. Doom was managed by Theodore R. Long, and the R stands for Rufus. But he was managed by Theodore. They were managed by Theodore R. Long. Butch Reed, he was not trash. Butch Reed was underrated. Butch Reed, Ron Simmons defeated perhaps the greatest brother duo in professional wrestling history to win their first tag team titles. I'm talking about Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers. They defeated the Steiners to win their tag team titles. Now, it's the funny part about it. They defeated the Steiner brothers, and they went on to held the tag team titles longer than anybody in WCW. Well, yeah, anybody in WCW. They still hold that record to this day. Check out Wikipedia. The longest reigning tag team champions, Doom. The most reigning WCW tag team champion, Harlem Heat, 10 times. Booker T's 11. Still don't know how that happened, but yeah. Charge it up and come back. I mean, but yeah, okay. Butch Reed, Ron Simmons, the greatest, one of the greatest tag teams in WCW. Here we go. That's just my opinion. Now, Hollywood Blondes, flying Brian Pillman, stunning Steve Austin. Now, before I get started with this Hollywood Blonde story, I got a funny story about Brian Pillman. So, Brian Pillman was called the loose cannon in WCW and WWE. Okay, Bobby Heaton was on commentary one time, and it might be on Saturdays. Bobby Heaton was on commentary one time, and Brian Pillman ran around the ring and grabbed Bobby Heaton's chair. Now, there's a lot of things you can say on TV, but you just can't say one word. And you can't say the F bomb. Bobby Heaton and anybody on here get offended when I'm about to say I apologize. Heads up. But Bobby Heaton came out the mouth and he said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Oh my. When Bobby Heaton said that, you heard, and I mean you heard WCW producing team stop in their graphs because Bobby Eaton said the one word you cannot say on TV. Brian Pillman later apologized to Bobby Eaton behind the scenes. Bobby didn't trust him no more after that. Oh man, that was the funniest thing that you could ever see. I think it was a Clash of Champions, if I'm not mistaken. If you don't subscribe to Peacock, subscribe to Peacock. Check out the WWE Network on Peacock. Look at Clash of Champions, WCW. Ooh, excuse me, and you will not be disappointed. Oh man, it's just a wild thing. The Hollywood Blondes, the first team in wrestling history to hold the NWA and WCW Tag Team Championships. Um, Back in the day, WCW had two sets of tag team titles. They had the World Tag Team titles and they had the United States tag team titles. And the only tag team to hold both set of tag team titles are the Steiner Brothers. The Steiner Brothers were the first and only team. No, I take that back. Nope, I'm wrong. The Freebirds. The Freebirds. And yeah, so the Hollywood Blondes were very underrated. And I'm gonna tell you why. Bill Watts, who was the chairman of WCW, did not see nothing in Steve Austin or Brian Pillman. And he just put them against anybody and anybody and anybody. But I'm gonna tell you something. They shocked the world when they fought Arn Anderson and Ric Flair at the Clash of Champions, and that match drew a 5.6 on the rating. That was the only match that drew a 5.6. Every other match drew a 0.4, but who am I to judge? I'm just saying. Well, who am I to judge? Hey, that was one of the things that you love to see, you want to see in professional wrestling. It was that because these Steve Austin and Brian Pillman were, in my opinion, so underrated, so misused in WCW where it's sickening. Okay, it was very sickening. Now we're gonna stay with WCW, and so I know you're gonna like this because I'm about to talk about one of the greatest, if not the greatest, group in WCW history. No, I'm not talking about the NWO. No, I'm not talking about the Dungeon of Doom. They absolutely sucked. Now, I'm gonna stay on Dungeon of Doom real quick. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Whoever made the Dungeon Doom and WCW should be fired, should be put in jail, should be given an electric chair because that group absolutely sucked. You guys almost ruined Bean's career, Barbarian's career, Kevin Sullivan's career. Sullivan was a nut anyway. Paul White's career. I didn't really care about the mummy. You guys should be drug out in the street, beat up, put in jail because whoever created Dungeon Doom, I don't care if that group was for Hogan's punching bag. They they absolutely suck. That name did not make a lick of sense. Dungeon of Doom. We're the Dungeon of Doom. Yeah, okay. Who the heck came up with that name? I bet you it was Eric Bischoff. That's who I think it was. I think it was Eric Bischoff. But now, now that that rant was over with, okay. Before I start talking about this, the question I asked was who did Taz beat for his first ECW World TV title? Nobody got the answer, so the answer is Shane Douglas. Taz defeated Shane Douglas in ECW Arena to win his first ECW TV title. Okay, I see we got six people watching. Let's hit that like button, like and subscribe. This is this is my YouTube show. I will be doing this every Saturday at 2:30. Um, it's something new. It's something new. I'm trying to get into. I like wrestling. I like talking about wrestling. So why not do it on YouTube? All right. So this is what I'm about. All right. Everybody in the comment, if you watching, just say hi. You ain't got to say nothing else. Come on and say hi. Hulk Hogan. The heck Hulk Hogan got doing? Shut up, Butch. You that Don Hogan. All right. Just come in the chat and just say hi, say hello, whatever. I am doing this just for fun. It's raining outside, but I'm trying to have a little fun on YouTube right now. So we have 6 likes in there. Now we only got 4 people watching. It don't matter if it grow and grow every week. Thanks to you. Thanks to everybody who is watching. Now I'm about to get into the greatest group in WCW history, the greatest faction, greatest group in WCW history. And before I talk about their lineage in WCW, Lord have mercy. Before I talk about their group in WCW, before I talk about this, we gotta talk about the old how they were created. Who came up with the name Four Horsemen? It wasn't Dusty Rhodes. It wasn't Tony Schiavone. It was Arn freaking Anderson. The Four Horsemen was perhaps the most dominant group in the NWA. These guys had everybody. When I mean everybody, it started off Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, Ric Flair. Ole and Arn were the tag team champions. Rick was the world heavyweight champion. Luger, the U.S. heavyweight champion. They kicked Luger out, brought in Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard became the national heavyweight champion. Ole and Arn were the tag team champion. Rick was the world champion. They kicked out Ole Anderson. They brought in Big Barry Windham. Barry Windham, United States heavyweight champion. Tully and Arn, aka the Brainbusters, the tag team champions. Rick, as usual, the world heavyweight champion. The Four Horsemen. You talk about championship lineage. You can't talk about Four Horsemen without saying championship. Because every member of the Four Horsemen were champions. Barry Windham, Lex Luger, Ric Flair, heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, and I'm not just saying it. Luger went to WWF and became the narcissist. Like that's a real thing. He was a narcissist, all right, but I'm gonna get that on a later show. Barry Windham became the stalker. What a stupid name. Ric Flair won his first WWF championship in a Royal Rumble. But the catcher of that, he entered the Royal Rumble at number three. From number three into the end of the Royal Rumble and won the Royal Rumble. WCW, Ric Flair was the greatest. There are a lot of people say Hogan was the best WCW World Champion of all times. No, he wasn't. Ric Flair was. Ric Flair was the greatest world champion of all time. Yeah, Hogan did help him with that. Hogan did help Ric Flair win his first WWF World Title, but it, it didn't. Yeah, Hogan helped him big whooped. So Arn Anderson, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair. If you don't know any other horsemen, you know Arn Anderson, you know Ric Flair. Yeah, but Sid sucked back then. Okay, you know Arn Anderson, you know Ric Flair. Now WCW Four Horsemen. Let's talk about that. Brian Pillman, Chris Benoit, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair. Pillman left to go to WWF. They put in Brian Pillman's place Steve Mongo McMichaels, a Chicago Bears football player, Steve Mongo McMichaels. How do you take out a Brian Pillman and replace him with Mongo McMichaels? Now, the disrespect came when they gave Mongo the United States Heavyweight Championship. Zoe, if you're still watching, do you agree with that or not? Was Mongo trash or was Mongo trash? It was nothing, but they rebounded. Kurt Hennig, Jeff Jarrett, also four horsemen, didn't last long. But the night Ric Flair came back off for a serious knee injury, you saw the reincarnation of the four horsemen because that night you saw the newest member of the Four Horsemen, and I'm talking about the man of a thousand hoes, the man Dean Malenko. When you put Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit as a tag team, ooh boy, you want to talk about a great tag team? Benoit Malenko were a great tag team. Them boys can get it done. Them boys are former ECW tag team champions. Two times over. Come on, man. I'm just saying. The Four Horsemen became relevant again when they added Dean Malenko because it took the focus off of Steve McMichaels and put it back where it's supposed to be. The last carnation of the horsemen are Steve McMichael, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Ric Flair, and the enforcer, Arn Anderson. That is it. That is all. That is all that she's written. Now, we talked about ECW. We talked about WCW. Let's talk about WWF, aka the WWE. More specifically, let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship, the Tag Team Championships. Let's talk about the Tag Team Championships. And we're gonna go right into the 1990s, 1998 stuff like that. We're gonna talk about the creation of there were two curtain jerkers. He was called Rockabilly. He was called Jesse James. They formed a unity together. It was a rumor backstage that Jesse James could only beat Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn could only beat Jesse James, and stuff like that. But they put Jesse James and Billy Gunn together to form the second tag team on the Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling, the New Age Outlaws. Road Dog Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, aka Mr. Ass. You talk about tag team that broke all the rules and still made you like them. The Outlaws were it. They won their first. As a matter of fact, before I go any further, who did the New Age Outlaws win their first tag team championships from? Okay, and a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a double quiz. Who did the Outlaws win their first tag team titles from, and who did they win their last tag team titles from? Come on, all right. Let's see who's gonna answer this. The New Age Outlaws not only found success in tag team wrestling, both Road Dogg and Billy are former hardcore and intercontinental champions. Road Dogg defeated Val Venus on the episode of Monday Night Raw, and Billy Gunn defeated Eddie Guerrero on the episode of SmackDown. Road Dogg defeated Mankind for the hardcore title. Billy Gunn defeated Bob Holly for the hardcore title, and Raven for the hardcore title. Billy Gunn's a two-time hardcore champion. Okay, both Road Dogg and Billy went on to the WCW and not WCW, went on to TNA and didn't do much. Road Dogg was a part of three live crew with Conan and K Quick. Road Dogg was NWA Tag Team Champion on three consecutive occasions. They became the Voodoo Ken Mafia. They started beefing with the Voodoo Ken Mafia. For those of you who don't know the initials, VKM, they stopped beefing with VKM. What that means, Voodoo Ken Mafia was beefing with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. For a side note, Vince McMahon shares a birthday with Lil Butch. August 24th is Vince McMahon's birthday, as is Lil Butch's birthday. Okay? That explains a lot about Lil Butch, but I'm going to leave that alone. So, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. They later joined the reincarnation of D Generation X. Shawn Michaels went out with a severe back injury after WrestleMania 15. After losing the title to Steve Austin, Triple H reformed DX in his likeness. Triple H called in a favor from a member of the clique, Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac. He also brought in Road Dogg Jesse James and Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. Along with X-Pac in China, DX were formed. DX will have a long standing run in WWF. To this day, DX is still talked about in WWF because you look at Shawn Michaels, what he did with DX, you look at what Triple H did with DX, it's hand in hand, same thing, because both of these guys made DX what it is. The Outlaws added their input so that X-Pac, both tag teams, the New Age Outlaws and DX tag team were unstoppable. Let's talk about Triple H, the Cerebral Assassin, the King of Kings. JR named Triple H the Cerebral Assassin. I think JR also named him the King of Kings. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, if it wasn't for Shawn Michaels, Triple H would not be as big as he is right now. Triple H started off wrestling as Terrorizing. Then he went to WCW as John Paul Levesque as a part of the Blue Bloods in WCW. He came over to WWE and they gave him the name Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a Blue Blood prick. Triple H's most notable first WrestleMania loss came at the hands of the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 12 in a matter of 12 seconds. When Triple H lost the Warrior, Triple H, Diesel, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, Sean Waltman, One Two Three Kid, all got together in the back and called themselves. And the King of the Ring, 1996, it was supposed to be Triple H who won, but because of the infamous curtain call at Madison Square Garden, so Steve Austin won that King of the Ring. Now, here is why Triple H was punished. At that time, Shawn Michaels could not be touched. Shawn Michaels was the WWF champion at that time, and Vince did not want to touch HBK. Triple H had to take the fall. Triple H took the fall all the way into the summer of 1998. Now, here's the thing. If it wasn't for Shawn Michaels making Triple H come out of his shell and bringing that edgier Triple H to the table, I truly believe Triple H's career in WWE would not be as big as it was because if it wasn't for it, Shawn Michaels did a lot for Triple H. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan. Look at the picture. The picture is important. Shawn Michaels took Triple H under his wing and made Triple H from a blue blood prick to perhaps one of the greatest WWE champions of all times. Okay, listen to what Triple H has accomplished in WWE. He's a King of the Ring winner, a two-time Royal Rumble winner, a two-time European champion, a six-time Intercontinental champion, a 14-time WWE champion. He's held 5 WWE World Tag Team Championships. As a matter of fact, Triple H and Shawn Michaels helped the tag team titles with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You look at the achievements Triple H. As a matter of fact, Triple H is the second Grand Slam winner in WWE history. The first, Shawn Michaels, of course. DX rivalry, when it was just Hunter and Shawn against the Hart Foundation, is legendary. Who would ever thought that Shawn Michaels and Triple H would do so much damage to the Hart Foundation like they did? Shawn Michaels beat every member of the Hart Foundation. Every member. Triple H beat every member of the Hart Foundation. Now, I want you to think about something. If Shawn Michaels didn't take Triple H under his wing, would Triple H still be a blue blood? Or would Triple H career fade and delete? I want to hear y'all answers right now. If Shawn Michaels never took Triple H under his wing, would Triple H career fade and delete? Or will he still be as big as he is right now? I'm gonna say no, he wouldn't be. If Shawn Michaels didn't take Triple H under his wing, Triple H would be the same. He would be the blue blood that we see today. He'll be a mid card wrestler. He wouldn't be a main event superstar like he is. Okay. He was he did not flourish like he did until he got with Shawn Michaels. That's just my opinion. All right. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, this is HBK, Mr. WrestleMania, Mr. Mr. WrestleMania, the main event icon, the showstopper, the Hall of Famer. He got so many nicknames, I forgot it. Shawn Michaels was the first man to win a Royal Rumble and go coast to coast. Coast to coast means he entered at number one and won the whole darn thing. Shawn Michaels was the first man to win an Iron Man match. Shawn Michaels was the first man to compete in Hell in a Cell match. He was the first man to compete in a ladder match, not with Razor Ramon, but with Bret the Hitman Hart on Coliseum home videos. That's for you, Doug. Okay, Shawn Michaels was the innovator of the ladder match because I'm gonna say a quote from Ric Flair. Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels went out there and had. I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels went out there and had a 45-minute match with a ladder. It just so happens another man was in that match. It's not me saying it. Ric Flair said it. So, on that note, I am going to end this broadcast of the Master of the Mat. I am Anthony the Origin Bryant. Yes, I am the end all be all of professional wrestling. This is my first of many, many YouTube shows. I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe to the channel. I will be back next Saturday at 2:30. I will be talking about something totally different next Tuesday. Who knows? So if you liked it, let me know you liked it in the comments. If not, oh well, nothing you can do about it. I'm still gonna do it. So so before we leave, the answer to the question I just asked you is who did the New Age Outlaws win to win the first tag team titles? They beat the Road Warriors. Who they defeated to win their last tag team titles? Stardust and Goldust, aka Dustin and Cody. All right, thank God for watching. It's been real. And I will see you guys right here next Saturday at 2:30. Until then, be blessed and have a wonderful weekend. Peace.